That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about RIFKIN'S Festival, the 49th film directed by Woody Allen, which MPI Media Group is releasing theatrically and digitally January 28th, 2022. It premiered at the 2020 San Sebastian Film Festival.
Okay, this one will be quick because the story was very basic. So it's about a married couple. The woman is played by Gina Gershon.
Sue and Mort.
And Mort is played by Wallace Shawn. Wallace Shawn. Okay, so they are at the San Sebastian Film Festival because Gina Gershon is a publicist, and she's there working with a hot up-and-coming director.
A French director named Philippe, played by Louis Garrel, which is notable because Louis' own father is the notable French film director Philippe Garrel.
So it is very apparent when we see Gina Gershon with Garrel that there's an attraction. Mm-hmm. And Gina Gershon is kind of like a cougar, I guess.
Oh, she looks great.
She looks great. And then, you know, Wallace, what's his name?
Mort Rifkin.
I mean, he seems like a sweet gentleman.
Who's a wannabe ex-film professor, wannabe novelist.
He's not cute. So he's suspicious of his wife. We find out that she is, in fact, having an affair with this young director. Mort is having, like, health issues, probably from the stress of what's happening at this film festival. So he goes to see a doctor, and it's this beautiful female doctor played by...
Dr. Rojas, played by Elena Anaya.
And he falls in love with her, but she's not thinking twice about this man.
No, her own marriage is in shambles. She's married to Sergi Lopez, who's a temperamental, adulterating...
So Mort's infatuation with this doctor goes nowhere, and his wife, Gina Gershon, tells him, like, I'm leaving you. Like, obviously we're not happy. The end.
Yep, basically that's it. It takes the span of 10 days, the length of time of a film festival, and there you go.
Why don't you go through your notes?
Well, this is a marked improvement on Woody's last film, which I loathed, A Rainy Day in New York.
With Timothée
Chalamet and Selena Gomez and, you know, a raft of other notable people, many of whom, because this was right around the time of Me Too, disassociated themselves from this film. So he went and made this in Spain. This is, coming after, this is about a year, almost exactly, when Alan v. Farrow, the docuseries, has dropped. But it's him doing the same things as usual. It's a very standard story, especially for Woody Allen. I mean, it is his 49th film. He's returning to work with a lot of people. Vittorio Storaro, who's been his cinematographer since Cafe Society, is once again working on it. It's really... it feels like a kind of a B-side greatest hits for Woody because he's touching upon all his favorite filmmakers, most notably Ingmar Bergman and Godard and Fellini and Truffaut and Wallace Shawn's characters having these nightmare dreams that are all kind of art house Easter eggs, if you will, of all of these filmmakers, which I think were the most entertaining parts for me. The best one being with Gina Gershon and Elena Anaya doing a B.B. Anderson, Liv Ullmann persona moment where they're both speaking English, but the voiceover is Swedish. However, if you want to see something a little more interesting dealing with Ingmar Bergman and the legacy of him as a filmmaker, I think Mia Hansen Loves Bergman Island is a little more interesting because this just felt very expected in almost every way. I did enjoy that the aspect ratio changes from 4:3 during these dream sequences to give it that boxy kind of classic art house feel before it goes back to the resplendent beauty of San Sebastian, which does make for an interesting backdrop.
Okay, what else you got?
I find it, this is his second film in Spain after Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which you can see shades of, especially with the temperamental artist played by Sergi Lopez. And it almost seems like that's Woody's stereotype I think, for Spaniards. Yeah, Louis Garrel. Every time you see him, you always ask who that is, and I always have to point to. We have a poster of Ma Mère with Isabelle Huppert on our wall. Sergi López really has nothing to do. Christoph Waltz plays Death, as in Bergman's Seventh Seal. Who comes to play chess, like literally comes to play chess. It's almost like I wish we could have done something a little more interesting, since that's such an obvious reference. Steve Guttenberg and Tammy Blanchard play his sister-in-law and brother. And every now and then some of the dialogue is funny, because Louis Garrel talks about how he wants his next movie is going to solve unrest in the Middle East, between Israel and Palestine, and Wallace Shawn says something like, well, I'm glad he's headed into science fiction. And he's described as a cranky little introvert at one point, which there are very standard Woody Allen beats. I know that you were kind of commenting every now and then on the dialogue.
It didn't feel inspired. Also, I don't enjoy when these Woody Allen films where there's a character playing a version of Woody Allen.
Which he's been doing, almost pretty heavily since Celebrity with Kenneth Branagh.
Because it feels like they're doing a bad impression of Woody Allen.
That's what it feels like. It's so suited to him and himself as a receptacle that, everybody else, it feels almost a little false. It's almost like an actor that is...
Excuse me. I'm tired.
Shakespeare. It's a certain... I think the one that comes closest in my mind is Larry David in Whatever Works, which I did have you watch, because you're
do recall that
Larry
film.
David fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a very good film. It was nice to see at least the object of the protagonist's interest, the love object, is of an appropriate age.
Oh, sure.
Dr. Elena. I mean,
she's still probably she's damn near 30 years younger than him.
She's still way out of his league, but she is for sure an adult, professional woman. I don't think she really had anything to do. I think. I did like the bit about Buñuel's exterminating Angel. Anyhow, I think that in Garrel's film that's at the film festival is called Apocalyptic Dreaming. Of course, I think if you're a fan of Gina Gershon or Wallace Shawn, there's a lot that's interesting. Again, Woody Allen's films long have been, since you compare them to all the other ones, and this is very much towards the lower middle of the pile, I think. But I think he's already working on the next project. 50 damn films. That's a lot. But I think you can see it, the exhaustion almost.
What would you give it?
I think 2.5 out of 5 is fine.
I would give it 2.5 out of 5 as well. I think Gina Gershon does the most with the role, and the French guy,
Louis Garrel.
Yeah, I think those two together,
were kind of fun.
Fare the best.
Well, because you commented when they're at the dinner table, and you're like, "This will be us at a film festival."
But Wallace Shawn, wait, what's his name?
Wallace Shawn.
Yeah, he's fun on screen. I just think he was saddled with kind of not the best dialogue.
I think he's fine. We usually don't get to see him in a lead role. And everybody remembers Inconceivable-ish from Princess Bride. He's recently in Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story. I think that if you haven't seen My Dinner with Andre by Louis Malle, that is a fantastic film, and I think he's excellent in it, which is a two-hander. But anyhow,
all done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.